Nen of Reddit. What made you realize your girlfriend crush wasn't the one for you? I've had a secret crush on someone for years now, and have known she's not right for me, and vice versa for a while. Unfortunately, the heart isn't always so logical. Into my type, but not me specifically, is much more about looks and cares about things like income status, and being able to do nice things much too much for me to ever be with her, and I still like her. Anyways, I'm perfectly comfortable supporting her in her endeavors because I still love her as a friend too. But I just know it isn't meant to be. I had a crush on a friend, so I asked her out. She thought about it for a few days before saying she wanted to take time to focus on herself, as she had recently gotten out of a relationship. She was dating someone else a week later. In the end, it worked out for me because I realized just how much I value honesty when looking for a partner. Her need to come up with an excuse instead of simply turning me down with a no. I like someone else killed any romantic feelings I had for her. She told me we were friends, or maybe even hinted that we would be better as friends in some unrelated convos where her friends asked why we don't date, etc. Everything and catering to their needs mentally, physically, emotionally, while also making time to go out of your way every time without them reciprocating even a little bit would be a big red flag to me. I tried to ask her to hang out and she told me she had ABF. So I apologized and walked away. She said it was no big deal. Then 10 minutes later I hear her within her earshot gossiping to her friends, hey, guess what? Blah blah blah. Then they all look at me with a shit grin. This was after she followed me, dropped every conceivable sign, and stared at me every day. I had no idea she was such a mean bitch. Like WTF to try to embarrass me like that. That was some shit. A couple of them turned out the same way. We talk for a while and it's going great, they ghost. That stings. But it's okay, you can do that. Probably something I said or did. A while later they come back and apologize and have reasons for the ghosting, and want to pick up where we left off. Sure. Whatever. How's it going? Ghost again. A while later I don't put a lot of energy into it after the first time. I was about 2 sentences away from asking a woman out. I'm fairly confident I stood a decent chance of at least getting a date. Then she started thrashing Weird Al. I love Weird Al, but if he's not someone's cup of tea, that's fine. But she was over the top bashing him like he was genuinely evil. It started several chains of events in my head of us dating, and it not working badly in every single one. So I kept my mouth shut. When I was afraid to talk to my girlfriend, part of it was me being way into her and being intimidated. Part of it was her belittling my humor as immature, so I didn't feel comfortable being myself around her. That was a sign pretty early on. I wound up dumping her shortly after she told me she was ashamed of how we met work, and long after she started actively pushing me away. We lasted about 6 months. I dated a woman that was attractive, fun, smart, great in bed. We never fought. But one day she dropped the bomb. She never wanted to have kids ever. She said her freedom was more important. She wanted to go out drinking on weekends. She didn't want to ever do all the mum things like feed kids or diapers. Hey, that's fine, but it made me realize how selfish she was. So I broke up with her. I started feeling a lack of emotional connection and compatibility, despite her efforts to make things work. Ultimately, I came to understand that our relationship wasn't fulfilling my needs or bringing out the best in either of us. It was a difficult realization, but it allowed me to acknowledge the importance of finding a partner who aligns with my values and supports my growth and happiness. She gave up on me and abandoned me and the dogs. Tried to have the time of her life with her friends, and wanted to come back crying. I really did want to be with her forever cause she saved my life. But when her actions nearly ended it again, I realized I had to cut contact completely. Shame, we were childhood friends. But in this world sometimes you either drift apart or grow together. The first time I was meeting her mum, she was calling her stupid and an idiot. Her mum had simply asked what we were going to do that evening, and she went in on her. It was so unattractive to me. I don't care to spend a ton of time with my mum, but like talking back to her off some conversation filler. Nah. Imagine what she'd have done to me in an argument. First date at the local football game, a different school, and said I might have some competition because there were a lot of guys who wanted her, and kept pointing out said guys, and then asked if I wanted to see her ass behind the bleachers. I declined and finished out the date, then never talked to her again. Just a type of crazy I couldn't deal with, lol. As I got to know her more as the weeks went by, I realized she was oblivious to anything outside of herself. It was an oddly surreal experience to be conscious of my feelings in that moment. To look at this person, someone I was enamored with and had a bad case of googly eyes for, is exposed, and all feeling towards them dissolved into pity. Witnessing her change her views due to social media posts. I mean, she chose to ditch her values due to TikTok videos her and her friends shared. Her friends are single and believe they can have as many FWs as they want. It's their choice. The crush I was pursuing decided that's what she wanted. Bored chick got knocked up and ditched. Nothing. My first girlfriend, who I met in college, just kind of clicked with me. She helped me make good life decisions and made me better. Years later, I asked her to marry me, and after being stunned for a few seconds, said yes. That was 15 years ago. We have 3 kids. We hike, play board games, and most of the time like each other. I'd asked her out a few times, and she said she was interested but always had a plausible reason why we had to put it off: busy with work, not feeling good, etc. Then I see on social media that she's out at a club partying with a group of friends. Okay, point taken. She didn't mean not right now, she meant not with me. Was seeing a girl, the first one after a bad breakup. I realized I just liked the feeling of being wanted again, not necessarily her as a person. Taught me a valuable lesson not to jump into things without being sure of myself. Fortunately, she was cool with it, and now we just see each other for physical needs. She wanted to rush into the future and was talking about getting married after a year. I'm 19 and a sophomore in college. There were also many other signs that we weren't compatible, and I felt like I had to change myself to make things feel right with her. It took a huge toll on me, so I had to get out. I broke off with a girl because we'd be out on a date and she'd repeatedly bring up how this other guy had promised to wait for her forever. There was me, trying to do my best to get to know her. Meantime, she's throwing that at me. It's like she was enjoying the competition in her head. So I walked. They didn't communicate with me. There was always a distance, and it was when it was starting to relax that I realized how frustrated I was with the situation I was. I could have, from there, stuck around and tried to make things happen, or I could cut my losses and break cleanly. I chose the latter. Got pretty depressed and low in life. I knew she deserved better, started resenting her because I wasn't going anywhere with my life. I didn't want that to go any further because I knew deep down I got issues, and I wasn't going to put that on her. Since we were going to do long distance. I had a cancer scare and had a section of my colon removed. She didn't understand that I was pretty scared and didn't want to do anything before I got results that it wasn't cancer. Made me realize she wasn't the one for me. 6 months later, I met the woman I'd marry. So I guess it worked out. She turned into a bright neon green head for chin lib that actually believes that all these made-up neopronouns are real and believes that if you don't, you should be disappeared by the gov. The fact that there is only male and female, and nothing in between or outside, that be damned. Yeah. And I stopped seeing another potential girlfriend when I went to use her bathroom and there was a dried out, half-eaten hamburger on the countertop next to a sink that had a broken glass in it. It gave me the creeps, so I made up an excuse to leave and I never looked back. It happened over time, and I just realized she wasn't as interested in thinking and talking about ideas as I was. And I started to find it extremely frustrating as it wasn't balanced out by some other outlet. I just realized that whilst a lot was good, I wanted something more. She was on TikTok way more than was healthy IMO, and it began to interfere with our time together. I honestly think that app is more addictive than cocaine, and most people don't see how harmful it can be, and unlike cocaine, it's easy to just deny it. It's just an app. I try. She didn't seem to feel the same way. I can take rejection on the chin, and I did. Oftentimes the biggest crushes don't feel anything for you at all. I don't know if she felt nothing, but I'm at least happy I took my shot and never had to worrying about what if. It hit me when I realized we had fundamentally different life goals and values. Despite our love for each other, we wanted very different things from life. I wanted a family and the settled life, while she dreamed of traveling the world without any strings attached. After we broke up, she tried to get me to come back to her by calling me after school saying she was 2 weeks late. I told her I'd buy her a test ASAP, but then she said she took one already and was negative. Our mutual friend told me later it was all a lie. After he dropped the pursuit of his crush, he was so head over heels for her, but he stopped in one night. When I asked him, he said a lot of men were pursuing her, and that was like a deal breaker. One time, a crush posted an image on Facebook with a caption saying something like, "If you are not successful, it is your own fault." One of those bullshit conservative memes. Definitely not the type of thing I believe in. I unfriended and blocked her. Not sounding like an asshole. And I had to break it off with a girl because I wasn't feeling what she was feeling. I was respectful and honest. Of course she didn't like it. But if it was the other way around, I would like to be told the truth, than a lie.